Hi and welcome to Joey Sewy. My channel's about sewing, styling and self-care. I am doing a vlog every day in May for Me Made May, and today is day 9. Today's main vlog is all about what I sewed in April, coming up very soon. But first I'm going to tell you what I'm wearing today, and I'm going to show you a little bit of my garden because some people have been asking about that. Good morning everybody from my sunny garden. I'm showing you what I'm wearing today. I'm wearing a ready to wear blue satin top. The colour is amazing. It does have fully, really pulled those sleeves up. It does have fully long sleeves. I love this top. You will see it has shoulder details, it has a v-neck, it has kind of a trim around the collar, which I really love. My necklace is a handmade acrylic necklace from a place in Bristol called I Am Acrylic. I have a white belt and I have white shoes, and the Me Made part of my outfit is the trousers. So these are the trousers that you will have seen in my wardrobe audit of trousers and knitwear. These are Marks and Spencer's trousers, but I completely reconstructed the back part. They're the ones with the tie, but I have a belt on so you can't see the tie. Redid the back centre seam so that they actually fitted my waist as well as fitting my legs, and I really love how they fit now. So it's a very Me Made light, but these trousers would not have been wearable otherwise. And on a styling front, what I love about what I've put together today, I was very excited when I did this because I've got the white here, and the white trainers, and everything else is blue. So I think I love how that's kind of brought the accent colouring, which is just white, but it's put it into 3 different parts of my outfit, particularly places where I want to highlight things. So this is what I'm wearing today. I hope you're having a good day. It is beautiful here in Cumbria, but it is starting really chilly, so I am wearing a thermal top underneath. I keep having to wear many layers so that I don't freeze to death. I've got my hair tied back today because on Fridays, after doing some work, I'm going to have to completely get changed because I've been going to a pottery studio on Fridays to learn how to throw pots. It is very difficult, but it's very fun and it's very messy, and I end up splattered in clay, which is the appropriate thing, but also not for these clothes. So I'll be going there later. I might be able to share some footage of that possibly tomorrow or over the weekend, another day. We shall see. We've just moved into a new studio space and I haven't seen it yet. It's getting unveiled tomorrow to everyone who has a weekly membership, which is how I go. So that is what I'm doing later. And also later I am driving to Scotland because I'm going to do a jewellery making course. It's a craft-tastic weekend. I'm going to make a jewellery making course on Saturday, which is my friend Clovis's 18th birthday present from me. So she's also my son's friend. She's the person who I did the elven cape for, pictured in this very garden. Cat's over there. And yes, so for her birthday, she is going to go on and do an art foundation degree next year. So jealous, but so excited for her as well. And she wanted to go and do jewellery making, so we are going up to Scotland to do a how to make a silver ring course tomorrow, which is very exciting. And I will also see if I can at least get some pictures of that to share with you over the weekend as well. So I'm going to cut to past me, who can talk to you about what I was sewing in April. And I hope you enjoy all the things I've been sewing. Let me know in the comments down below what your favourite thing is, and how your Me Made is going today on day 9 of Me Made May. And I will see you again tomorrow from, in part at least, hopefully sunny Scotland. Bye. So you'll have had a good morning from today me, but this is yesterday me, talking to you about my April sewing. So I can't cover up the fact that I'm wearing what I wore yesterday, but today, which is when you're watching this, I'm wearing something else. So I hope it's good. I don't know what it's going to be. I'm here to tell you about the non-prom things I sewed in April. And I'm going to start, there's no particular order except the order that they are on my table. And this is not even sewing. So I showed you this in my knitwear the other day, but I did make this not entirely in April, but I did finish it in April and I really love it, so I thought I would include it. I think this is called the Misty Lane scarf. I will put a link to the pattern down below and I'll put a picture of me wearing it. I will put it on just so you can see over the microphone though. I really like this. So of course I finish a scarf when we go into a heat wave, but when it's not so warm in spring, I like wearing something like this over a shirt, say, and it means you don't have to wear a coat. Even cold me doesn't have to wear a coat, but you're not cold. So those kind of things are really useful in my wardrobe, and I finished that this month. Another couple of things I have to show you, the next couple of things in fact, are things that I cut out I don't know when. I haven't been sewing a lot while I've been away from my channel. I think I've said that. So when I came back to Sewing Central, I had at least, well, I've got loads of halfway done projects, but there were two in particular that were very much halfway done, and so I finished them both off. So I look like I'm super productive. I'm not, and it depends how you define productivity anyway, but these two I did not start this month, but I did finish this month. So the first is, you've seen this in my wardrobe audit, you have seen this pattern a lot this month, but it is the block tee. That is not what it was called when I bought it. The block tee by Paper Theory Patterns, and you can see the seam line here. It's a very simple boxy shape, but you can see the seam line. It has insertions, and it means that if you're using a fabric like this, so the cutting out, it's me of a long time ago that had this idea, and I think actually a viewer gave me the idea anyway, that you can play with. You could play with stripes, you can play with gingham. This is a highly synthetic something or other, a twill, but it's a great colour. I added over the seam line, I added this stitching, which is just an embroidery kind of stitch that my machine does, not hand stitching. I crop the length a bit, but I tend to wear it tucked in. I will insert some pictures of me wearing this. I finished the bias binding with hand sewing, which on the outside is invisible, and on the inside I couldn't be bothered to make it invisible because it's the inside of the garment. I made it pretty, so everything I can inside the garment I have done with French seams. There's a side seam, French seam. The one thing you can't do with this pattern, so you have to bear this in mind, don't use a very fray fabric. That's the inside, and I guess you probably could bias bind that, but this pattern works best with a floaty fabric. So if you were to bias bind the inside, you would create a lot of bulk along that seam, and that seam is in a very noticeable place. So it's really hard to know how to finish the edges, and really, so the sewing that I've done is partly to help finish the inside, but if it was a very fray fabric, you may struggle with it. I haven't tried it in a viscose. I mean, it would look lovely in a viscose because it would drape really well, but it depends whether it's one of those viscoses like this one that frays as soon as you look at it or not. So if you fancy this pattern, and I would recommend it, I like how it looks. I think it's just that little bit different to a standard t-shirt shape, but you do need to bear in mind what fabric you're using, because there's that little construction detail that makes it tricky to have neat finished insides. So I made this one. Then you have also seen this already this month, my lovely, I think these are sailfish or swordfish or possibly both, print shirt. I got this shirt fabric from Abercarn Fabrics in Preston, but it's going to be at least 4 years ago, if not longer. So I believe we call that deep stash. The colour is amazing. I picked it up because of the colour. So it's within the times when I've been really attentive to colouring, and I'll be inserting some pictures of me wearing this and the detail. This is the Granville shirt from Sewaholic, and this is the original version. So it has the shaped seams at the back, kind of like a, I guess like a cowboy vibe. It has a yoke. It has, I've got top stitching on the seams and on the yoke. It has a formal collar with a collar stand. It has formal cuffs with plackets, which you will be able to see pictures of. And I used the opportunity. So this print has orange in it, which is not a colour that I ever wear as a primary, like as in primary colour, as in not a primary colour like red, blue, etc., but a primary colour as in the biggest colour in an outfit. Couldn't think of anything other than the word primary. I never wear orange like that because it isn't really a flattering colour for me, but I do really like orange. So I really liked the idea of, as you'll have seen in the pictures, using some orange stitching to pick up, for example, the thread that I put the buttons on, the buttonholes, this zigzag, which did it start off as a practical thing? Things like that with me usually do. I can't remember. I think it did up at the top of the plackets. I was struggling to get something to work, and so I did some zigzag, and then I was like, I'm going to pretend that was on purpose and I'll do it everywhere. And that's what I did. So I really love this. I've made this pattern a lot. I would say the fit is really good on it, but I probably am not super into fitted shirts at the moment. So when I next make this, and actually the blouse that I was wearing the day before yesterday, and the one I've just made, is from this pattern, but I've highly hacked the pattern to change the fit. Basically, I've taken all the shaping out and added the width back in, taken the darts out and added that volume back in, taken the shaping out the back and added it back in, made the sleeves that little bit broader, because I do find the sleeves on this a little bit narrow. That might just be the size that I originally cut out, but I prefer it when I've taken the shaping out and added all the volume back in, partly because the shoulders fit really well on me. So if you're looking for a shirt pattern, it's the fit on the shoulders is the key thing, and if that works, you can mess around with everything else, and it will still look good within reason, but fitting the shoulders is the hardest part. So, or at least that is how I understand shirt making, that fitting the shoulders is the key bit. If you get that right, and if you keep that static, you can change all sorts of other things. So that's what I did with my shirt from a couple of days ago. I'm not talking about today because I actually made it mostly in May, but we will come to that because I want to show you all about how I've made it, just not today. The third thing, I've just added this in, so if I said there were 4 things, there are now 5. The third thing I mostly made in April, but I'm still pondering over, is this pattern, which is the Kenny woven shirt by StyleArc Patterns. I have added this embroidery stuff, and I'll probably say more about that when it gets finished. What I will say about StyleArc Patterns is I hate them. I might be a bit strong. I have not enjoyed using that pattern because the instructions are so scant to almost be useless. It is apparently how it is with them. Okay, that's your choice. It's not my favourite thing. I want to buy a pattern where the pattern designer or pattern company has put thought into helping me understand the best way to do the process. So when I come to my hobby that I want to enjoy and not sob over, I have someone holding my hand. Even though I have sewn all my life, I would like someone holding my hand, telling me their thoughts on the best way to make this pattern that they have thought about long enough to make it, grade it, produce it, market it, and sell it to me for money. And if that's what you want to, you will not like StyleArc Patterns because their instructions are terrible. Rant over, maybe. I do like the fit so far. It is a very deep V and it has this frill on the collar, and I bought it because chose the style because I wanted something that had this big dramatic collar. At the time I was not planning to do this appliqued lace stuff, I added it because I didn't particularly like it without, basically, and all sorts of other reasons. The things, it needs a back facing, so I've had to finish it with bias binding. And honestly, I'm still not very happy about that. I do not know why there isn't a back facing. I've watched other people's tutorials on YouTube about this and they can't work out how to do that either. The instructions are terrible. Oh no, I started the rant again. Calm down. Yeah. Not enjoyed the making process at all, which means I keep picking it up and putting it back down again, trying it on to remind myself whether I really like it. Should I have just thrown it in the bin and walked away? But each time I try it on, I do like it. And I now know how I would change it and what the processes would be that I would do. It's just not been fun, which is a bit rubbish because I do this for fun. So you're going to see this again at the end of May because I will have finished it and I'll probably say a bit more about it at that point. But for now, know that the Kenny StyleArc woven shirt, Kenny woven shirt from StyleArc, has taken up my time, or did take up my time in April, and continues to take up my time. Sometimes that's good, sometimes it's not so good. This is the pattern that I said I'm looking for some navy buttons. I think I mentioned that in my yesterday video about problem sewing, and I don't have any. I just need shirt shaped sized buttons in this dark blue. That's what I want, and I don't have any, so I'm going to have to find somewhere online to buy buttons, and I don't really want to because I hate buying things like that online, but I've got to put my big girl pants on and buy some buttons. So that's that partially done item, but we will come back to it. On the other end of the scale of fun whilst sewing, I have got something that has been so much fun to make, but is probably only middling, not quite actually sure yet whether I love wearing it. But the fun making it was off the scale. It is this shirt dress, which is the Chai shirt dress from Itch to Stitch. It is full length. I will input some pictures. So the story is I started the StyleArc journey, got very upset by that, and wanted to go to a pattern company that would definitely hold my hand. And Itch to Stitch, if you don't know them, you probably do because they're really well known, but if you don't, they are the other end of the spectrum of helping you, and tutorials and pictures and all the information about everything. So I went to a safe place and I went to Itch to Stitch, and I actually had never made, I'd bought one pattern before, or at least to my knowledge one. I may have bought more than one, but not got around to making it. It was a coat, still on my list. Got some beautiful fabric for that, but never made one before, but knew that I would be in good hands from what I had heard from people, and I certainly was. I did nearly everything wrong on this shirt dress. I did most things twice. I think I had to attach the collar twice. I had to do the binding around the armholes twice. I did the waistband twice. Basically everything twice. I definitely, so this has got gathers at the bust and a fairly high waist, which is good for my shape. I definitely did the gathers at the bust wrong and did them twice because I'd missed a notch when I'd taped together the PDF pattern. So even though I was doing everything twice, I was still having fun, which is a bit weird because I should have been frustrated, but I wasn't. The thing I love the most about this is the fabric. And you can't buy this fabric because I made this. I love it so much. I'm going to tell you about the technique later, probably later this week, if not next week. But it started like this. It's a viscose twill, I'd say. I got it from a shop called The Shuttle in Shipley, which was shutting down. It has reopened in another guise, so you can still go to a shop called The Shuttle Shipley. I haven't been in its new guise, but they were shutting down, and this was really cheap viscose twill fabric. It is really drapey. I was copying or inspired by a shirt dress, like the black and white floral shirt dress that you saw in my wardrobe audit. Feels like a million years ago now, but I think it was on the 1st of May. I was inspired by that, but I wanted something sleeveless so I could layer it. And you will have seen on the pictures of me wearing this that I had, the first time I wore it, and so far the only time I wore it, I did layer it with a white shirt, and I really liked how that looked. I'm on a timer recording today. I need to get it finished. The buttons I love. You may be able to get these in this country, but if you can't, you're also going to struggle, because I got these 2 years ago in Geneva. Yes, they're probably the most expensive buttons in the world, because Geneva is a crazy expensive place. The shop was lovely. It was button heaven and embroidery heaven. I will see if I can find a picture. I'll put a link to it. But yeah, the thing I'm not sure about is I deliberately didn't paint. So I essentially painted this fabric, and I deliberately didn't do the bottom part because I was trying to put all the interest at the top, and I have done that. But there's something about when it's on that I actually feel like I've made it unbalanced, and having the plain on the bottom, to my eye, maybe it's paranoia at this stage, I'm not sure, actually draws the eye to the bottom and makes that look larger, because it's just a big expanse of plain. So possibly by not painting it, and I had another reason for not painting it all over, I actually didn't achieve what I thought I was achieving with that. So that's why I'm a bit in two minds. And the reason why I didn't paint it all over was because the very expensive dress that I showed you when I was showing you dresses, the Hobbs dress, is not exactly the same as this, but it's pink and pink. So I didn't want two all over patterned pink and pink dresses, because that seems like too many for one wardrobe. I'll show you a picture of me in that if you didn't see that or you want a reminder. But I do love how the fabric looks. That was so much fun to do this fabric. I can't wait to tell you about that. I like the choice I've made about the plain collar. I really do like that, because I think it ties the top and the bottom together. I love the buttons, and I did actually buy these buttons to go with this fabric, even though I hadn't an idea to paint it at that point. That was just an impulsive, playful thing. But whether it's actually super wearable, I don't know. Time will tell. We shall see. And that brings me, with my lovely maybe dress, maybe we'll call it the maybe dress, brings me to the end of what I sewed in April. I can't remember the date. I can't remember the month. Can anyone remember my name? I'm struggling. A bit tired today. But I hope you've enjoyed seeing what I've been sewing. I have lots of things that I'm sewing in May, and I will show you those. I may show you some of the details, because I know a few people asked about the details of the blouse I was wearing 2 days ago. I really want to tell you all about that. But I've got loads of other things I really want to tell you about. So I'll be back tomorrow. Not sure what with, but possibly looking at top patterns. So following on from last week's wardrobe audit, possibly looking at sewing patterns that might fit some of those ideas and thoughts and shapes that I was talking about really loving. And that will be, if it's not tomorrow, it'll be an amazing surprise tomorrow, but it will be later this week. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.